We live in a world that praises hustle, domination, and endless scaling. But here's the truth. What's the point of reaching the top if you lose yourself on the way up? Today, we're talking about what it really means to lead with light and how to embody the CEO mindset without losing your soul, because this is the second episode of the Build to Lead series. And we are rooted and rising. Sienna, we're back.
We're back. And I'm glad to be back because I know last week we talked about, the first episode and what that means with consistency. And I feel like that was an important intro to this Build to Lead series, because without consistency, like we talked about, it shapes your identity, right? Yep. Therefore, with all those consistent actions, now, we're all driven in a different way. And so we want to lead with purpose.
Yep.
In not being forced.
Intentional.
Exactly. Integrity. There's so many things I'm excited for today.
Oh, yeah. Because we're back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you want to do a quick recap?
I do. Well, kind of briefly, was just about the consistency, and I kind of want to tell a brief story. We always let's talk about real life things, right? And since we're talking about this, I remember a season whenever I was so focused on building, right? I'm in the real estate industry, sales. I think I've been doing it now for 4 years. And so everyone sees sales as it is a lot of pressure because you have to meet your numbers. It's just a lot going on. And so I was caught up when it came down to, I'm trying to figure out how to lead, but I have more motive to pay my bills.
You got to earn your keep.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And so starting in the real estate industry, I was brand spanking new. What in the world? I was just kind of like thrown into the fire. No one knows who the heck I am yet. Right. So, it was a nice learning experience, but I will say I kind of lost my why. And so I think I was in it for a couple years, and you're doing all the networking events, you're showing up, you're trying. At that time, I didn't even think as far as like what a brand image was.
Yeah.
I knew I'm working for a company and I'm introducing myself as Sienna, and the company name is behind me, right? But what is that? What does that even mean? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And so that's kind of where I had to check myself after a couple years, because I saw it just being monotonous.
Yeah.
As in, there was no intention. There was an intention as far as, okay, you need to hit your numbers, your monthly numbers, and I was just showing up to these events. I was being consistent with that, but when it came to, I was still who I am. I'm a decent, a good person. But what am I? I'm just socializing for a living, right? And it honestly becomes a party sometimes. Like you go to happy hour events. I wasn't doing the community service type of giving back to the community. It took me a minute to get there. You know what I'm saying? And so, again, like I mentioned, it felt like too dang long. I mean, I was still in my 20s at that time. So I felt like there's always the regret, the what if I would have done things differently, I'd be further along. Yeah. And so, but again, I am so blessed to have gone through that time frame, because now look at us. Could I don't even think I could be doing this and talking for one to a camera. Sometimes I do it on my social media, but it's hard. I'm nervous, and I don't show you sometimes like, oh, we're about to do this whole, it's just being vulnerable.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And to go back to your story, it kind of almost seems like you were so caught up on the goal, and you had the values weren't the
correct,
because we should be more value based than goal based, because goals they fall, they go away.
Yeah,
values,
and then you check it off the list, and then what? You hit those numbers, and then what?
Exactly.
And it's on to the next month. And it's just, like I said, monotonous would be the term that I would have to use. But that's just, I think it's important to recognize, and it's never too late to recognize, just as long as you do,
Well, it seems like you learned the importance of leading with light.
Yep.
So what is leading with light?
Don't let your ego get in the way. Lead. I want to inspire others. I think it becomes contagious once people start to read your energy, and leading by being an influence, being of significance, and just kind of guiding them with light, Like, have you ever heard that term, there's always light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah.
I want to be that light, for my team, for my loved ones, just in general, like I don't know, sometimes we just kind of get so caught up in the ego
Well,
you know,
we were called to be light.
yeah.
I have a story kind of like yours. I started volunteering in my church, and then started leading my volunteer. The media there, and it almost seemed like it wasn't more from the heart anymore, because it was like I wanted the recognition.
Right,
I want
right. Yeah.
Was I doing it because the whole point of doing it was to serve God? But there were some times where I was like, hey, I did that. Give me my flowers.
Yeah.
But that's when it started. That's when bitterness started coming in for other things. I'm like, I'm losing why. I'm losing my why.
Yeah. The happiness, the joy, the peace.
But we talk about leading with light. We're actually called to lead with light. I was telling you about this Bible verse before we even started.
Yeah.
On over here.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm excited.
Jesus in Matthew 5:14, he says, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." That is, we're called to be the light.
Yeah.
We're meant to be.
That was the perfect verse right now for this.
Yeah.
Good call.
You're meant, because he talks about the candle lights up the whole house. For your business to be that CEO, your light needs to shine up through your whole house, through that whole business. You're the light. You saw darkness and you spoke light into it. Yeah. You're the light there. So you got to be the one that. And what do flies do? They gravitate towards light. You want people to gravitate towards you because of who you are and what you stand for.
Yeah.
They should know. One of my mentors told me, he was like, I'm the type, I want to be the type of person to where if you hear something about me being said, you don't even second guess. You're like, that's not right. That's not right.
Yep.
I know that person. They wouldn't do that. Don't even try to put that on them, because that's not who they are. And that's the integrity that he wants us to live by and stand by. And to me, I was like, that is like the beginning of it all. Like, if you're the same person in every room, and so you hear something about me, you know it's not true, someone try to slander my name, you won't even second guess it.
Yeah.
That's not. It's called being a light, though.
That's a good point, because oh man, being raised around grandparents too. I believe legacy is a thing, and just being in the small town, Austell, Texas, I was just shown, you are, what is it, nature versus nurture?
Yeah.
And so you become what you're surrounded by, being a younger person. And so with that's a really good point, because that's exactly who I do strive to be. And that's why I feel like I'm doing something right, but let's keep being that contagious light, because that's exactly, I want people to look up to me.
So your grandparents were a good example.
Yeah. They were so consistent. Let's draw back to that work as far as showing up, all the morals, the ethics, the things that you're taught through action, by seeing it. And then you start to become that as well. A lot of people don't, we have a very easy decision. Do we want to be that way, or do we not want to be that way? And so I think I learned at a young age what integrity and compassion, those are a lot of hardcore, emotions and definitions for whom I would strive to be. But I'm still trying to be. I can't wait. We'll see how I am at 50 years old. Let's see. I would love to be a wise woman. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But I know that takes experience as well. So we're all learning.
Yeah, we are. I mean, I had a great example growing up. I had a lot of light people. My father was a great example. I mean, to this day, there's people who, when they bring him up, it's his character, who he was. He stood on everything that he stood for, and he didn't bow down. He didn't compromise himself or his soul for anybody, for a pat in the back.
Yeah.
For recognition, for anything.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy. I mean, people do that. We bow down. We compromise ourselves and our soul for a deal. A deal we probably don't even want to do business with these people, but we'll do that because they're going to give me this check right now, and I think I need the money.
Yeah.
And
I agree. I mean, that's even what I was talking about when in the beginning of my story was, being in the sales world, going out, just showing up to the events, putting on events. And it started to get to the point where, this was, 3 years ago now, where I wanted that deal. I needed that deal so bad. You know what I mean? To meet my expectation. And I'd get the random text, meaning I want to build that connection. So I'd get text, hey, let's go grab a margarita. Midday. Okay. Wanting to get to know you, would love, your business in general. I'm also a big personal, Like I like a one-on-one meeting so we get to like, we dig deep as far as how's your family? Do you have daughters? You're building a foundation, a relationship, and a trust, right? But over time, it just became the same thing. And I was like, I don't need to go out.
Well, that kind of sounds crazy because it's like people you hang out with, people you're trying to do business, you sometimes may be picking up their habits. I want to go to the bar.
Yeah.
I want to go to the strip club at 11 on a Tuesday.
Yep.
And every time I meet with them, it's 11 on a Tuesday to the strip club.
Yeah,
so you're drinking and doing things you shouldn't be doing. And then that becomes your habit because I can drink at 11. I'm used to this.
Absolutely. Everyone else is doing it, so why wouldn't I?
Exactly. And so that's who you know, that's when you have that scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't get this, I'm not going to get another one. When we have God, when we are light, we know that, hey, you got my back no matter what.
Absolutely.
I'm going to trust in you. You don't want me to do this deal? Because of that, I won't do the deal.
Yeah.
Your character doesn't line up with you, with who you are, and it doesn't line up with me and what I stand for, my values.
Yeah.
I don't need to do business with them.
And I am so thankful. That's something that obviously I learned. I mean, I was still young, and so I didn't see as anything being wrong with it necessarily. We're going to a Mexican local restaurant, right? But still, I'm like, I stopped working out. I stopped doing everything I love doing. And then that's whenever I started 75 Hard. And I was like, no, I'm done with the alcohol right now. Let's test myself. That's when I got in my challenge era. Then you start to notice the people like leaving that don't care to hang out with you just because you don't want to go. Or listen, I'm a Topo Chico girl. Love me a good glass bottle Topo Chico. And people always got awkward. Like, I would say, yeah, I'll go, let's go have lunch, but I wouldn't drink. And they're like, you're not going to drink? I'm like, no, I just want Topo Chico, whatever. And it just always made people uncomfortable. And I'm like, I'm so sorry to make you uncomfortable, but.
Because their habits that they form with other people, you're not aligned with those other people now. And you're like, whoa, who is this? Yeah. That's called being a light.
Yep.
They're drawn to that because now, like, if I don't got to drink. That's the difference between a leader and follower.
Yep.
I'm doing I'm getting my Topo Chico. I'm doing what I want to do at these things.
And I feel good leaving it. Yeah. And that's where my Instagram kind of came more about my fitness, because that's where I made myself uncomfortable and I started running. I can't even tell you how many people gravitated towards that. People are asking me, how in the world did you start running? Like, what are you doing? That's where heart rate became a thing. And I'm just like, oh, I was doing it for me. Now I want to help other people. Like that, I thrive off of inspiring or giving someone a piece of advice that they can relate to.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Same way when I was doing my fitness journey, and that's what I would post. And well, who is this? What are you doing? I want to go do that. It's like I was doing events that no one was doing really Spartan. Yeah. This is before High Rocks was a thing.
That's crazy. I know.
And everyone just did CrossFit. Oh, you do CrossFit? I was like, I'm not doing CrossFit. I'm doing an obstacle course.
Yeah.
And like, it's not CrossFit.
It's so different.
Yeah, it's a different. And it's when you're different, we're meant to stand out for one.
I agree.
When you're standing out and you're standing out, you're not trying to compromise yourself like, I'll go do CrossFit because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't.
But when you stand on who you are, you're a light. You're becoming that light. And then God, they didn't stop pinning you up. God removed them from your life. You align with what His values were and what He wanted in a human being. Yeah. And it kind of just shed your skin like a snake. That's what it is.
No, I know. Those layers were coming off.
You shed that skin, and then those people who used to go to that 12 o'clock meetings and get the drink, they didn't recognize that you weren't in that same skin no more. They didn't recognize that person. They were blinded. Like, man, this dude's bright. Who is this person? They're shining on me because you were leading by example. You were doing your own thing. You weren't conforming. You weren't doing those things to please them anymore.
And see, I was so caught up in it, I didn't even realize in a way at all until it really was the working out thing, until I realized, holy cow, I'm not doing the things that I love doing. We all need an escape in some way, form, or fashion. I always vouch for that. You could love art. You could be really good at painting. Whatever. You can be good at photography things. Like, go out to the park and go take photos of, the trees or you get the point here. Is once you start realizing you're not doing your passions anymore, check yourself.
Yeah, just the vision. What is your vision?
Yeah.
And if you have a vision, does your discipline line up with that vision? Is your discipline going to make it? Are you executing what you need to do to get that through, to see it through? Yep. Because if you're not, and then you're not going to make it. It's just a facade. It's not even a goal. It's a pipe dream.
And even that even goes with protecting the boundaries.
Yep.
Like learning when to say no.
And saying no. It's not a bad word.
Yeah.
That's such a word. Sales is a tough job.
Yeah.
Sales is not natural. It's not a natural thing we're supposed to be doing.
For sure.
And so dealing with rejection is tough for everybody.
Yeah.
And so sales already has its own stuff to do with that. Sales is very tough because you got handle rejection. You got to be told no, and you got to do. It's like
over and over again.
It's like going to a bar and you're trying to get, you're single. You're trying to get someone else who's single.
You're on a mission,
and you got to handle that rejection. Take it to the chin. Turn around, go to the next girl, like, hey, what you doing? What's up?
Yeah. And that's not even as often. That's I'm sure occasional or whatever circumstances. And so that I'm sure was a good, a jab to the heart real quick. Like damn,
man,
what's
ugly.
wrong with me? Yeah.
But the thing is, everyone sees you getting rejected. Everyone's seeing telling you no. And so when you're in that sphere of whatever environment, whatever work environment you're doing, whatever field, everyone knows everyone.
Yeah. Small, big world.
Exactly. This person just did that to somebody. This person just, and you start, if every single room talks about you in the same way because of who you are and what you're standing on, you're being a light, who wants you will gravitate you. Your reputation will precede you.
It's so big.
Exactly. It's going to see you before you walk into a room. They're going to know who you are.
Yeah.
They already know they're going to do business with you. They just want you. They want to hear what you got to say first.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And that's when you're chosen. That's when you're leading by light.
Yeah. I have so much. I think I'll even go to restaurants and stuff, and I'll see, all over town. Being in the industry, I'm all over Houston. Golly, I've gone to Galveston, Woodland, Spring, Tomball, you name it. And it's such a breath of fresh air whenever you're the same. About what you said earlier. Be the same person in every single room. Whether you're with your friends out, I'm also big on that with reputation. Like if I'm out with friends on my personal time somewhere, I'm going to be the same exact person. I'm not going to be buck wild. Didn't we talk about one time going crazy? Like I gave an example, like at a gas station, you're irritable that day and someone's being rude to you and how you respond. But what if someone was behind you that you truly they looked up to you and they saw you be this butthole to, this stranger? Sometimes you have to self-control.
Yeah,
Self-control and discipline.
That's what helped me out a lot in life was that thought. I was like, man, I'm going to see somebody at church. I can't be acting like this.
Yeah.
I can't be doing this.
A lot of people don't have that in their subconscious though. Sometimes it's not taught. You have, to face experience in order to kind of figure that out.
And
it takes some longer than others. And that's okay, but.
Through self-reflection, I made my connection. Reflection on your days at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You got to remember your why every day.
I agree.
Every day recite why.
Yeah.
Why am I doing why? When it gets tough, why am I doing this? I don't want to go to work. Why am I going to work? Why am I pushing myself this hard?
Right.
Why? Remember your why. And the way to do that is everyday reflection. I would say my grandma taught me, but pretty much my grandma taught me.
Yeah.
End of the day, everything from just recent all the way to the beginning. Work your way backwards throughout the whole day. Every interaction you had, everything you could think of, every day do that.
Yeah.
That's called reflecting on your day.
Yeah.
How could I ever did this? Not even how could have I done it better, just reflecting. Oh, this happened. Oh, then this happened too.
Acknowledging.
This. Your emotions, everything. Remembering your why. Remembering everything. It helped that stillness, meditating, and then honestly giving the time to God.
Yeah.
It actually was one thing I would... Probably my new habit, I should have said, was getting created at the beginning of the day, doing a devotional.
Okay. Yeah.
And because we talked about in our Bible study, Cain and Abel, giving your first fruits. Cain and Abel, they both sacrificed. They both gave offerings to God. But Abel gave his first, and he gave the fattiest part. He gave he did what he had. He gave the best parts to God, the first of it. That's what we should all be doing. The first part of our day, giving it to God. Roll over, read the Bible, happens devotions all day. Or you can get we talk about Let There Be Light.
Yeah.
You get this 30-day devotional from
Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon.
Yeah.
Let There Be Light. But boom, those are ways you start your day off. When you align yourself with God at the beginning of the day, He's going to take care of the rest. Money, every time I get money, tithe to God. There's the 4 T's: time, talent, treasure, and testimony. How you being a steward over all those 4. Being a good steward over your time, what are you doing with it? Does your time reflect your goals? Does your time reflect what
Right.
you want to be and what you want to get out
Your
of as a
mission.
business owner? Mm-hmm. I want to be top 5 business. I want to be in the Fortune 500, but I'm sleeping until noon and I'm
Yeah.
going to bed at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
and I'm playing video games for 2 hours. I mean, that's not reflecting
There's no way.
what I want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talent. What are you doing with your talent that he gave you?
Mm-hmm.
How are you using that? Mm-hmm. And your treasure. The money that he's giving you, what are you doing it for?
Right.
What are you using on it? To go out, turn up
Yeah.
at 12 p.m.?
Those
And your
margaritas.
testimony.
Yeah.
Your story. Your
agree.
testimony. You're meant to be a light. You're meant to impact others. Tell them the story how your life's been changed because you remembered your values, found God, found your values, and you found your why. Going off a little tangent, I apologize.
No, trust me. I had so many things I want to say too, which I'm going to veer off. Well, not really. I meant to tell you before we started. I'm going to be intentional. And after this evening, I already told myself what I was going to do. I'm making me a prayer closet. I'm like, I have to do it. It's been on my mind for a while. And I already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get some Bibles. I already have sticky notes because I'm like a big note taker. So for whatever I'm feeling that day or need prayer on or people, if I need to pray for someone. Recently I've had some people reach out, like, can you pray for me on this? And I'm like, I love that. Yes, absolutely. And so that's something I'm going to do because we just talked about, I want to be emotionally, physically, spiritually. Spiritually, comes first. I want to work on that. And then we'll see where that, kind of leads me. But I'm excited for the journey. So I had to tell you because you kind of mentioned, doing devotionals every morning. So I think saying it out loud also helps because I've told no one that yet. And so clearly, please hold me accountable, guys. We'll draw back next week on week 3 on how that's going. But I was stoked to tell you because I figured it'd be a cool, happy moment. Insane to think how far. Like 2 years ago, I would never even probably think that way, So neat to see how you evolve as a human being.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually one of my family. It's crazy because they saw the old me, then they saw this new me, and they saw the light. They saw the light. They saw it, and now to this, my aunt would text me, "I need to pray for this person. Yeah. Hey, can you pray for this person?" My family would text me, "I need you to pray for this. Hey, can you pray?" And that's a big, like, oh man, like you want me to pray for them?
It's such a trust.
Okay, all right, well, all right, God, I got to pray for this person, and I'll pray for them. Because they asked me to, they trusted me, and God gave me a talent.
Yeah.
For someone to ask me to pray for somebody, He wants you to pray.
Yep.
What are you going to do? How are you going to answer to that call? And that is actually how my light impacted other people in my family.
Yeah.
We had our own Bible study in the family. It was a crazy thing where, my light,
People feel that.
Yeah.
It's truly contagious, though, as well. It's also like we've talked about sphere of influence. Then you start to get, whenever you're in a room, like, golly, even your Easter weekend y'all hosted here. Like, if you, sit back and, look at who's in the room and realize all the love and everything you feel in the air, with just all the being evolving as a human being. And so it's just nice to see, how far you've come.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a great example of the light, leading with the light. My brother, he saw the old me, he saw the new me. He was like, "Man, what the heck happened to you? What is Kool-Aid are you sipping?" He ended up getting baptized. He ended up getting baptized in Jesus' name because he saw what God was doing for him. He was like, "Man, I want some of that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give my life to God too."
Yeah.
That's what happens when you give your life to God. People are like, "I want to go to eat at that restaurant. I want to." When you're a light, people want to go eat at the restaurants you're eating at.
I want to sit at that table.
I want to sit at that table. I want that to happen. I want that to happen to me. I hear about blessing people getting free houses. I want that blessing, God.
Yeah.
You know, crazy things like that.
Right.
And it just happens. You get blessed.
You do. I will vouch for that. Goodness. And then even creating a light-driven culture. As in, we've talked about light as far as who we can potentially represent, who we are, the integrity, the compassion. But when it comes to the business world, right, as a CEO, instead of basically being driven with purpose. So being that light for your team, how you show up, just your daily habits. And I have a little fun story. I'm trying to get better at doing acts of kindness. Everyone's motivated differently. Everyone works differently. And some people need more things than others. Maybe sometimes sit there for 5 minutes and ask, hey, your employee, how are you doing? How was Mother's Day? Like, you know, get to know them. And I went to Hobby Lobby because I was back and forth all for weeks. And when I was checking out, the lines have been insanely long. I don't know what's going on there. But there's these little cards, like little cards, and they all have a different saying. It could be for a mom. It could be for women. Like, you can change the world. Very inspirational. They can also be religious or just motivational. And so I was like, you know what I'm going to do? Which I'm telling my idea to the world, but it's fine. On the back of it, you can write who it's to and who it's from. And so, in who I want to be in this world, I want to start handing them when I go to events or go to meetings, and whoever I feel like I really connected with, or whether it be a male or female, I'm going to give them. And I'm on the back of it, I'm going to have who it's from me, and like my company name. And it won't have a name yet, obviously, right? Because that, you know how sometimes you get a random like stranger that pats you on the back and say, I can feel your energy today. You just randomly get compliments. Okay, well, I'm trying to do that. So what I'm trying to say here is there was one talking about like a woman empowerment type of deal. And so one of the girls that we work for that works on the same with my company, she's just done amazing. She's freaking phenomenal at her job. And I built that relationship and foundation. And I was like, man, when you read it out loud, this one is for her. And so I put it on her. I actually gave all the team members, the girls, they all said something different. And I chose who I thought that meant for them. And she's cute. She actually put it on a sticker. She got a piece of tape and put it on her wall. But like that lit her up. And understanding what people need, I think, is also important, because I truly love stuff like that as well. Is that a love language thing? What would that be? Acts of service?
Words of affirmation.
Okay, that. Yes. Need that in my life, because golly, I'm alone in my car all day long. Do you know what I'm saying? And so anyways, just I think being able to show up for your employees and your team by doing little things can go so far as far as like motivation. And, you know, we can go deep on a little rabbit hole in that, but that's just kind of something, a story that's super fresh as of last week. So. Oh,
that was really fresh. I mean,
because it's just planting those seeds.
Well, just even the light-driven culture with my clients at photo booth events.
Yeah.
I'm praying over people.
Yeah.
I'm at a wedding praying over somebody. I'm at these random things praying over somebody, which is crazy. Where was I yet? It was there was a girl in a wheelchair. She was in high school, and she was her senior year. She was just about to graduate, and her friends were like, "Can we put her on here on your booth, on the 360 booth? Can we all if we hold her, can we go on there?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then I asked her, like, "So what happened?" She was like, "Oh, I broke my leg and this and that." I was like, "Yeah, this is my senior year, and I play soccer."
Okay.
Yeah. This was before the season started.
Gosh,
and it was her senior year, so that means she's out.
Yeah.
And you know what I do? Mr. Softy, I start crying. I get all teared up because it happened to me. My senior year surgery, I was out. I didn't get to play.
Yeah.
And so I felt that. I felt her, and I was like, "Can I pray over you?" And then once she said yes, she started crying before I even started. I was like, "Oh man, that's how you know it really hits." And she was like, "This, like it's mentally hurting and emotionally."
You don't come
hurting.
across those experiences too often. So it's like when you do, you're in it, you feel it. So crazy.
Yeah, it was awesome. I got to pray, and then I happened.
I feel like you have a lot of those stories. To be honest.
Well, that's also because we all have it in us. It's inside of us. Something tells us, "Hey, go talk to that person. Hey, go do that." And what do we say? I want to be weird.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm gonna look weird. But you're not answering to your call. You're being called. Something's pulling you towards that person. Do it. And so every time that I do listen, it ends up being real. Or like if I think of somebody, like, man, I'm gonna text them. Yeah. And I'll send them a text. And they'll call me with their problems of what's happening. I'm like, oh my goodness. All right, I gotta be on top of it whenever he puts something to do that
instinct.
Exactly.
It's such an intuition in you're called. And like I said earlier too, we're all a vessel. Some way. I've done that too with scriptures, and I'll send them to like a friend, and then they would screenshot like the same, either be the same scripture that they read, or they'd call me up and tell me what's going on, what they're going through, and that's what they needed for assurance. It's crazy when you listen to it, it goes a long way.
It does. I mean, when you're a leader and you're also the light, darkness can't exist. Darkness cannot exist where there's light. So if in your place of business you're the light, there's no darkness. It will it'll be pushed. It'll be out. It'll be gone whenever you step into the room. Drama going on.
Yeah.
You have to be the one to solve it. You got to be the light. All right. It's like, let's talk. We're a family here. Let's talk it out.
Yeah, exactly.
What happened? Things like that.
That culture, the company culture.
Yeah, it becomes you. The company culture is aligned with your values when you're leading with the light. Not your goals, your values.
Correct.
Because yes, you want to hit $1 million this year, but that's not your value.
Right.
That's not
gotta
who
think
you
long
are.
term.
Exactly. Because when you hit that $1 million, what happens? 2.
Yeah.
It's always getting pushed back. Values stay the same. Integrity never changes.
Yeah. And that's why you can lose yourself in it.
Exactly. And you get that ego.
I was just about to say that. Yep. That's where that comes from as well. I believe there's a such thing as being confident, just like you've mentioned before. I don't remember what exactly we were talking about, but you talked about if you're giving a pitch to someone or something, and let's say, of course, deep down, you might have some doubts, but how you approach the situation, you're selling your idea. It could be something super silly, or it could be an actual business idea. But if you don't go in acting like you know what you're talking about in a way, but in a not overly confident, there's a difference. We do have intuition, and we can read body language. We could read people very easily as far as motives. And so I just feel like that fine line of a balance of your confidence level, like believe in who you are, number one, like stay true to who you are. You know what I'm saying? But just don't let that ego get in the way, because it truly can.
I just watched this video the other day. The guy said diabetes has killed more people than smoking and drinking.
Really?
No. You see? He sounded so confident when he said it. He sounded so confident when he said it.
That's amazing.
And he was like, you see what happens when you sound confident, when you're saying fluff, and you're just talking? Let the actions prove it. Because confidence can distort your whole reality. If someone is confident in what they're saying, they can give you gibberish, they can give you trash.
Yeah.
That's what happens when there's that confidence.
That was good. I appreciate you doing that.
Right? But that's what happened. It happened to me. I was like watching this, oh my goodness, I'm about to send this to everybody. I'm about to go smoke and drink. Diabetes is going to get us.
Yeah, you never know nowadays. Sometimes, I mean, like, I don't want to be naive. That's also a thing as well. But
yeah, exactly. That's
staying
tough.
on top of it.
But someone sounds so confident, and maybe they even have a following or whatever.
That as well.
They made $1 million. They did all that.
Yeah.
But no one knows they probably didn't do shady deals. They did do stuff they shouldn't have done. But they sold you on this dream. Come with me. I got you.
Yeah.
And guess what happens? Everyone gets indicted. You're gone too. Because you fell for it. You fell for that pipe dream. Someone with confidence misled you. Like you said, confidence is, it can get you, but you got to be it. But when you're confident, you got to know you're confident in something that's truth.
Yeah.
In truth.
Yep.
Not confidence in ego, narcissism.
Yeah. That word.
Yeah.
Narcissism is such a thing.
Everyone, we're talking about it right now, CEO. Everyone is a CEO. Everyone is the boss. Everyone's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
No one wants to work. We got to let go. Like, to be a leader, you got to be led.
Yeah.
When I worked for a company, I'm not going to say no names, but I'm 1,000% true. This is the truth. This is a guy who's a big business guy. And he said no one should run a business until they're 40 years old. They should be, he said when they're 40, then they can do whatever they want, because the 20 years before all that, they were working and getting experience and learning the ins and outs of what they were going to be doing. Yeah.
I do feel like I have seen a lot of older people, or I've been digging into, because I'm 30, I've been digging into like a timeline as far as like when and how did they know? How did they become that millionaire? You know, like Dave Ramsey, like all these very successful entrepreneurs or motivational speakers, all that. And I'm like, how long have they been doing this? And when did they know? You know, because how do you know? There's so many questions. And so a lot of them have been older, starting off older, which make also you're just more wise at that age as well. With experience, we don't know. Just like I don't want to practice what I preach. I'm going to go through it.
There's a guy at the church. He didn't start his business until he was like 50-something years old. Sold it for a few $1 million. But we just see the $1 million. We thought he had it when he was born, or he got it real quick. Yeah. They didn't see the 30 years of him working for somebody else. Right. And just being there. You know, being a light, technically. what he was doing. But my pastor told me the other day, we're actually talking about, I'm gonna give it away. I don't want to give it away, this wisdom, because it was so good when he spoke, but I'm gonna give it away only to people that, he's talking about reverse engineering.
Okay.
You know what that is?
No. Reverse engineering.
Yes. So it's usually, people use it when they talk about like aliens and UFOs and how.
Oh.
But really, say this iPad. I see this iPad. I'm gonna break it down, and I'm gonna see how they got to there when I look at all the components.
Yeah.
And then by reverse engineering, I'm gonna see how they did it from the start. I take it one by one and see how they did it from the jump. We need to be practice reverse engineering with everything. You see something, I want to do a podcast, reverse engineer it.
Right.
I want to be on YouTube. How do I get on YouTube? I got to have cameras.
Yeah.
I got to have HDMI cord. Every little thing is through reverse engineering.
Funny you say that too, because I was like looking at you doing all the chords and stuff, and I'm like, man, I got to know all the ins and outs, because not what's the point, but almost like you got to know your niche, like your thing.
Yeah.
And dig deeper, dive deeper, because.
So he said, if you learn through experience, you're never going to make it. If you're a person who only learns through experience, you're never going to make it.
Yeah.
Reverse engineer.
Just like a waiting game.
Exactly. Because if I through experience, I had to do the 2 years of 4 years of volunteering just to get to this point.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I would have reverse engineered from the jump, I would have had it done. Because when you reverse engineer it, you know what you want. You already know the vision.
Right.
You're just working your way you're working your way backwards. Okay, this is where I got to start.
Just asking the questions.
You know the steps now. You're not guessing where step 2 is at. You're not thinking, oh, what am I going to go do now? Now I got a camera. What do I need next? You already know what you need next. You work your way backwards.
Yeah.
And so we got to start reverse engineering what we're doing, because
That's good.
Experience is going to take forever.
Yeah.
That's why you got to get mentors. That's why you got to. That's part of the reverse engineering part. People who've already done it. People who are where you want to be at. Seek them out. Ask them.
Right.
It's not hard. I mean, it's hard being rejected.
No, I agree.
They say no,
listen, I do that for a living, so I'm pretty sure.
A lot of people who've already done it, made it, they just want to give the wisdom out.
Absolutely.
Every day, every time I see this dude, he just gives me something new, and I'm like, stop. I'm trying to process what you told me last time I saw you.
Yeah, let me soak it in.
Yes, because it's so valuable. It's
You need to take a sponge with you to manifest, as in soak it all in. Just soak it all in.
The books that I'm showing. He wrote 3 books in 1 month.
Yeah.
That's my mentor. That's the guy I get to confide in. That's the guy I get to call and talk. I got a question. This dude wrote 3 books in 1 month. You know why? Because he has so much wisdom just pouring out of him. He wants to give back. God, he literally says God has called him to give back. That's why this book, if you don't know your why, this book, Let There Be a Light, will show you. Will help you find it.
Yeah.
It will give you clarity when you're confused.
And he didn't wait.
He didn't wait. He got to it. In 1 month, 3 books. People can read 3 books in 1 month.
Absolutely.
He wrote 3 books in 1 month.
Yeah. Man, I learn something every single week we do this. Whether it be you telling me a story about someone else or something, or what you're saying, or it's also an accountability thing. Like now I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back home and do some reverse engineering in general. Like it's a mindset.
It is.
Like I've even been thinking about what you said last week about your brain, like how strong that sucker is, because holy cow, that thing makes you make decisions. It makes you not make decisions. Like it's crazy what you can tell yourself or convince yourself to not do.
Yep.
Or there's always excuses, but where do the excuses come from?
Us.
Your mental. Yeah, it blows my mind.
Yeah, it's you telling yourself you're. I don't got the other book that he made. Actually, I do.
Where is it? Oh.
The 5 lies that keep you from your Eden purpose. These are the 5 lies you're telling yourself every single day when you have excuses. Can I just read over the 5 lies?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to just make it real quick. The 5 lies. Number 1, I am not enough. That's a lie we all tell ourselves. This lie number 2, I tell myself all the time, and it's like something I got to keep. My past disqualifies me. So my past didn't let me do this. Oh, man, people are going to let me because of what I've done. Nope.
Yeah.
What I did do is I got baptized in his name, and I've been washed away. That old person died. I tell Ruby that to this day. That old person died. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Number 3, I'm just waiting on God. I'm waiting on God. And he's going to take care of it. I'm waiting on him, but you're not moving. Number 4, it's too late for me. I'm 54. I can't go get a degree.
Yeah.
I'm 54. I'm not going to be a millionaire. That dude was 50
I'm not gonna
when he
own
started
that
his business. 50. Lie number 5, I can do it my way. That ego. I can
That's
do it.
that's
Sorry.
perfect. Like, how did that even happen?
I can do
We
it.
did not plan that.
Exactly. And that's what actually so much of my I'm this dude, I'm telling you, he just
Yeah.
pours it like it's he wrote that.
And you read this already?
No, but you can have it.
I'm about to
Yeah,
take it.
it's-
I love the sizes of these too.
They're not long. They're real
Yeah.
quick. Good reads.
And I'm just like a note taker. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
and he
perfect.
allows for notes to be taken.
I'll do this.
Yeah.
Stand.
The 5 lies that we tell ourselves. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Now we're definitely off topic, but I'm gonna keep talking because this is something that's been I've
Yeah.
been practicing. So right now it's a Jewish holiday. It's called counting the Omer. This is the days leading up to Shabbat. Shabbat is the day that Moses was given the Torah from God. Like who wrote the Torah came down from Mount Sinai. So Moses saves the people from Egypt, and they go into the wilderness. They were only supposed to be there for like 40 days, 50 days, but they messed up, and so they had to wait. They had to wander for 40 years.
Wow.
And yeah, so the counting the Omer is the waiting, this waiting period between that time until where God's gonna, give them the Torah, bless them.
Yeah.
So in the Jewish, they celebrate this as a waiting with anticipation. The anticipation. Who we're called to stand. We're not called to sit down. We're called
Yeah.
to stand. So they don't they don't do weddings. They don't do parties. This is when they planted the seed, and they know within 40, 50 days they're gonna reap that harvest. So how are you in the waiting period?
Right.
When God's not working for you? How is your light? Is it tinkered? Does it go on and off because you're not getting what you prayed for? You're not getting what you believe you deserve because you've been doing good. You've been acting kind. I
Yeah.
got good karma, as
Right.
people say.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done the work. Why am I not reaping? And so this time is the waiting period. It's the waiting, but waiting with the anticipation. It's the waiting with the knowing. I planted my seeds already. I will reap the harvest one day.
Yeah.
I am going to reap the harvest on this day, matter of fact, because I've done what I had to do already beforehand. And so when it's kind of like if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
like there's no test. It's just questions that you've already know because you studied for. You did
Right.
all this.
Yeah.
So how are you going to react in the waiting? How is your light in this waiting period? Because how's your company do when it's in between payments? How are you as a leader when you haven't had a check coming
Right.
in 2 months?
When the shift
But
is-
you still got to pay your employees.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, God, I've been praying for you. I've been doing all this. Where's your loyalty at? Does your knees quiver?
Yeah.
Are you living with that scarcity mindset? Or are you knowing I have my God has more versus there's abundance mindset. There's no,
Right.
it's all infinite. And that's where I'm at right now. Now I'm in the waiting and anticipating. And because when I learned that from this guy,
Yeah.
that day when he told me about it, I was like, oh my goodness, all right. And so the other day, one of my first days practicing it.
Yeah.
You know the anxiety you get when you wake up, like, what am I going to wear today?
The first few questions.
Yeah, that like it's not anxiety, but it's anxiety.
No,
because,
yeah.
like I got clothes in the dryer to clean. They're all wrinkled. I got to steam. I'm trying to get to work now.
Right.
So the other day, I wake up and I'm about to turn on the shower, and the first thought was, like, what am I going to wear today? And I said, don't even worry about it. I'm going to shower.
Yeah.
I got clothes. This stuff is hung up. I'm good.
Yeah.
So I get the shower. I go to my room, the closet. I know what it is. I know I'm counting. I'm waiting in anticipation. I was like, all right, I'm gonna find a shirt. And so I've been down. I'm trying to. There's some stuff I got to get. It's like 2 levels on my closet. I've been down to get some. And I see a shirt to my left. So, ooh, there's a shirt just hidden in here, kind of just not even hung up. Let me grab it. Pull it out. Shirt says anticipation.
Oh my gosh.
I can't make it up.
That's amazing.
I can't make it up. What do I wear? I wore that shirt
I believe you 1,000%.
because
Because
and that's just the sign. There's little things that he tells me. He's like, hey, I see you.
those little chuckling moments. It's like, oh yeah, he's got you.
Yeah, I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in God.
I agree. Yeah.
And that may not be do with our topic, but how are you?
Yeah, no.
How was your light
Yeah.
when stuff isn't going your way? Are you a light when stuff isn't happening?
Right.
When you're in a season of you don't know.
No, I agree. It's a big tester with
Yeah.
your integrity, your loyalty, all of it,
Yeah, because your team sees that.
and feel it. We feel, yeah.
Are you going to put the stress on them
Naturally.
too? We're going to act like nothing's happening. But you don't stress. You don't put that stress on them. You don't put, hey, I need you to go sell this today.
Yeah.
I need you to go make 10 sales. I need you to go do this.
Yeah, and then now I'm freaking out.
Now
It would just draw, yeah.
Now everyone's touched with this darkness, the anxiety.
We're all freaking out. Mm-hmm. That's just naturally how it would go. Mm-hmm. That's good.
This is my last thing I'll tell my mentor. He told me, when I told him that this was my first year doing the business alone, he was like, all right, every day you go in, first thing you do is you pray. And you walk around the whole place, the whole office, and you pray. You say, God, anoint me, anoint this business, protect, put a shield over us, bless my clients. And he would just tell me to pray over it the whole time, pray over the whole thing every single day. And so what I do every day, I went there and I prayed. Mm-hmm. And we got blessed.
Yeah. You had a great year.
Yeah. So it's things like that. It was like, all right.
Planting the seeds.
Mm-hmm. Leading with light. Mm-hmm. Being a light.
All of it.
Yep. My thing went down.
It's okay. I did want to say something. I think we've touched personal, business-wise, and kind of wrap it up. And I wanted to say something. I wanted to say, talking about leadership. Like, leadership isn't about control. It's about calling others through your example, just like you just said. You can lead with strength and softness. You can embody the CEO mindset and stay soul aligned. This was a good one. I'm going to reflect after this for the next week. We're hired a new, she starts in a week. So I'm kind of setting some boundaries, super excited about what the company culture is about to look like even further on. So I needed this topic.
Actually, I got a test. Okay. For anybody who was any type of lead role or anybody, actually.
Yeah.
If you were gone tomorrow, how would your company do? How would wherever you're at, could they replace you immediately? Did you train your replacement?
Yeah.
Have you trained or has your ego got to you where you're like, if I train this person, they're going to give my job to them?
Right. Or go do what I'm doing to create my own business maybe, or go work for someone else because the skills they taught you.
Yeah, the reason I was able to lead the media team was because someone was teaching me everything that they did. And so once they left, it was like, there was a little bit of a hiccup.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was like, oh, he showed me this. I've done this. It was so easy to take over because he didn't have that ego.
Yeah.
He didn't let anything else, he trained his replacement. And I've heard
That's
from another mentor, not the one I was talking about. He was like, that's how great coaches are.
Yeah.
You know a great coach when his subordinates, his other coaches leave and go get their own teams. Those are the best coaches when his people leave and get to be the head coach somewhere else.
That's good.
So can your people lead? If you were gone tomorrow, can your people take your role? Is person underneath you ready to step up?
Yeah. Yeah.
If anything happened, given the circumstances. And that's real big on your ego. It's a real ego check.
For sure.
Because you're right. They can go start their own business. They can go behind my back and do this.
Yeah.
My job could let me go because this person's probably going to charge less.
Yeah. There's so many.
But you don't live with that scarcity mindset. Live in abundance.
Yeah. And you would never probably even, not you, people wouldn't even reflect and think that way because it's just a different type of mindset. Yeah. Until you're checked in someone else, you're like, oh, I need to check myself. You know, that was good.
Challenge of the week.
Yeah. Challenge of the week, guys. So honestly, you started with the good questions, which kind of resembles and reflects on this. Ask yourself, am I building to lead or am I building to prove something? Sometimes you have to ask yourself that. And that goes with, what is your why? Remind yourself why you are that business owner or whatever for your company and the culture you're trying to, bring. Because I think it's important.
Yep.
So let us know. Let us know how that goes. You can DM me separately. No judgment here, y'all. It's all good. If you are in it and you are trying to prove something, we do have a purpose in this life. So just learning how to recognize and be self-aware. I think you'll be just fine. But thank y'all for tuning in. The second episode, we will see you on episode 3 of the Build to Lead series.